recording.
We are both recording, and therefore I got some of your audio, therefore I can audio the audio.
Why did you say that like that, Garfield?
Right after I said that, I was like, that was kind of the what the fuck is it?
Why? It's like something like, why is it called an oven when you in the cold food and out the hot food or whatever? I forget exactly how it's phrased. Like something like that. Anyway, Christopher.
Holy shit! It's been way too long. How long was that tunnel we went through?
Seriously, this is what we're doing? This is your bit?
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeff, and welcome to the Sound Judgement podcast,
where every episode we'll be discussing all of the important musical topics, from reviews to which member of Motley Crue is the most vile.
I'm gonna judge the officials. I'm gonna judge all the judges. It's gonna take you people years to recover from all my opinions. It has been a long time. Life was lifing.
Sure was.
It sure
and
was.
Also, we were setting up this beautiful thing.
Well, we were setting up this because this took like some research and some thought, mostly on your side.
Yeah.
First off, Chris, do you want to explain what we're doing, or do you want me to?
Well, what we're doing is that I've created a little game that we can hopefully get all one of the people listening to this to participate in if they want to. I have sent Jeff a playlist of 11 songs that I'm going to put in the description as a YouTube playlist, and I will maybe read them off too in case videos get deleted. Sometimes you know how things go.
Well, I was going to read them off at some point. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the second link will be to a Tiermaker where you can rank them. Now, what these songs are is 10 of them are the favorite songs or a significant song of a true crime figure. And one of them is a red herring because I didn't want it to come down to the last song of Jeff not have a second choice.
Oh, so one of these isn't even actually relevant.
One of them is the favorite song of a significant person, but they won't be a true crime subject. I'll let you guess what they are.
Oh,
when you figure out what it is. But I didn't want it to get down to, the last person and you only have one choice to pick from.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there are 10 criminals here and 11 songs.
Okay. So let's just get this out of the way. The songs, and I'm just going to say them in alphabetical order here as they're showing up, is Bad Company by the band Bad Company, of course. Carnival by Natalie Merchant. Helter Skelter by the Beatles. Iron Man by Black Sabbath. La Isla Bonita by Madonna. My Sharona by the Knack. Night Prowler by AC/DC. Rich Girl by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Ronnie by Metallica. Selling the Drama by Live. And Whole Lotta Love, as in the Led Zeppelin song, but this is the arrangement done for the London Symphony Orchestra.
Would you please go back and call them Hall & Oates like a normal person?
What did I say?
You said their full names. You said
oh
their
my
full
God,
names like it is on Spotify.
You know what? I read it because I'm reading it straight off of the Spotify playlist. Why do they have them listed like that? That's so weird. Do they actually go by Daryl Hall and John Oates?
I sure hope not.
I don't think I even knew John's name was John. I read over it and didn't think a thing of it. Anyway, weird. So I don't know how exactly this game is going to map out. I did, and I sent this to you. I made my tier list, and I sent you the tier ranking of these 11 songs. So are you going to tell me who all the true crime people are, or are we going to just do song by song? How's this working?
Here's what's going to happen, Jeff. I'm going to give you the name and a short breakdown of the crime, and you guess what their favorite song was.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And as we go, I'll tell you where you put them on your tier list, but we'll kind of at the end take a look at who your top guys were.
In the end, what we're going to have is my tier list ranking of true crime figures.
Yes.
We're basically going to figure out who my favorite murderer is.
Exactly.
in a very roundabout way.
Based on their musical taste, which is what truly matters.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I care.
Exactly.
So, all right, I guess give me contestant number 1.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna start you off with a soft pitch here, okay?
Okay.
Charles Manson, born November 12th, 1934, died November 19th, 2017 of colon cancer at 83. This should be a freebie. He's an infamous cult leader who is obsessed with a certain album containing this song.
Yes.
Interpreting the album would incite a race war.
Okay, so I actually, when I saw Helter Skelter on here, I actually was worried, like, is this gonna be like a joke? Like, is this actually not gonna be Charles Manson and it's actually somebody else? But no, okay, so that one absolutely is Helter Skelter.
That one was a softball. I wanted to, start us off with
that
a
one,
freebie, basically.
that one I do definitely know, and I know that he, his whole race war thing that he thought was gonna happen and whatever.
Timothy McVeigh, Jeff, the Oklahoma City bomber.
Yeah, okay. I know a little bit about him.
Born April 23rd, 1968, died June 11th, 2001. He was executed at 33. Timothy McVeigh was a domestic terrorist who set off a 350-pound Ryder rental truck bomb outside of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. On April 19th, 1995, the bomb killed 168 people, and although he perpetrated the attack as an anti-government sentiment, the building was also full of innocent civilians, including a daycare on the first floor. Jeff, what was his favorite song?
Okay, so, I know, this one I don't know. I really don't. But I am going to try and put what I do know about him, and I'm going to try and make an educated guess here.
Okay.
Timothy McVeigh was very much, I feel like he saw himself as like an anti-hero. Right? Like, in his head, he was doing, like, this amazing righteous thing that deserved to happen. So I am gonna put him in Iron Man's shoes.
You think so?
Iron Man being the story of, I mean, it's a ridiculous fantasy story, but it's, the guy goes to save mankind, and thanks to space weird science fiction-ness, he got all messed up and nobody wanted to deal with him, and then he killed everybody that he was originally saving. That is my guess, yes.
That's a really interesting, insightful take, and I wish that it were true, Jeff.
I mean, it was purely a guess. I really have no idea otherwise.
Timothy McVeigh. That was my attempt. Timothy McVeigh's favorite song was Bad Company by Bad Company off of the album Bad Company. During his time in the military in the Gulf War, Timothy McVeigh was a gunner on a Bradley fighting vehicle, and he nicknamed his vehicle Bad Company, and he was known to play Bad Company by the Bad Company from the album Bad Company on repeat through his Walkman over the vehicle's intercom, driving everyone nuts, along with Queen and White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane.
I mean, ultimately, I like his taste, though. But okay, wow, yeah, I did not know that.
Going back to it, currently you have Charles Manson rated at a C, which I think that's probably true for you.
Oh, I thought we were going to do all the ranking at the end.
Well, we'll hit them up as you're going along, and then we'll talk about it for real at the end.
Oh, well, okay, so
and Timothy McVeigh is currently an A for you.
Yeah, Timothy McVeigh, I guess he's an A class. I guess I can't really call him a serial killer.
True crime suspect.
Subject, I guess, is really just the only way to categorize these people together. Yeah, okay, so, all right, so far.
Richard Ramirez, Jeff, the Night Stalker. I'm sure you've heard of him.
I know the name Richard Ramirez, and I'm aware there was someone who went by the name the Night Stalker, but I couldn't tell you anything else about him.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, so don't you worry. He was born February 29th, 1960, died June 7th, 2013. By the way, I am giving you the dates because I kind of figured that might be relevant to where their musical taste might be.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least it needs to be, the song needs to at least be before their time.
Yeah. So, he died of lymphoma before his execution at 53, and the Night Stalker terrorized California for over a year from June in 1984 to August in 1985. He killed at least 15 people, and he was known for breaking into a victim's own home and committing these acts of brutal torture. He was particularly hard to catch because he never used the same murder weapon, and he committed his crimes in different parts of the state. And when police would be looking for him over in one precinct, he'd be committing a crime in another area, and the precincts didn't communicate that much. They were more just trying to get the bust for themselves, if you understand what I'm saying. But he was eventually apprehended when his favorite hat, a hat for this band, was found at the crime scene.
Please tell me the guy who called himself the Night Stalker's favorite song was Night Prowler.
Supposedly, the lyrics to the song Night Prowler by AC/DC inspired him to kill, including lines like, "Too scared to turn out your light because there's something on your mind? Was that a noise outside the window? Was that a shadow on the blind? As you lie there naked like a body in a tomb, suspended animation, and I slip into your room."
Oh my god, that's so dumb. Alright, well, Richard Ramirez is also he's an A-class true crime subject. Oh, that's so pathetic. That was almost too easy.
That one was almost too easy. The next one is Ronald Patouk, and there isn't actually a ton of info on this guy. This one, more than most of the other people we're going to talk about today, sounds like a sick person losing control. At the age of 26 in October 2002, Ronald, a paranoid schizophrenic, beat his mother to death with a barbell before leaving the house and stabbing an 11-year-old riding on their bike. But he said this is the song that possessed his thoughts and drove him to murder.
Is this another one where the name is relevant? Because if his name is Ronald and we have a song on here called Ronnie by Metallica, is that possibly relevant? Because you also said, didn't you say 2002?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been after this album came out, after Load came out in the mid-90s.
That's, Jeff, you nailed it. I was really not sure if you would get the connection, but you picked it right up. And also, this is a song that is supposedly itself inspired by a school shooting, like a real school shooting. Although the band but the band has never really confirmed that. But they use the name Ronnie Long in the song, but there was a real school shooter named Ronnie Brown, which actually would have made the rhyme Ronnie Frown sound make more sense in the song.
Well, damn.
And it's possible that they just kind of changed the name to, the names have been changed to protect the guilty or whatever.
Okay, then. Well, that was also in the A tier, so we started off high. I don't know what order you're doing these in, but
this is actually a random order, although I'm not gonna...
That's really funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not surprised by a lot of your picks so far.
Well, I mean, I don't think there were many surprises on the way I ranked these songs.
Yeah. All right.
But I like the fact that those three were all in the A category.
Well, John Bunting, born September 4th, 1966, still alive in prison. Australia's famous Snowtown murders, often called the Body in the Barrel murders, were a series of murders committed by a gang of self-proclaimed pedophile hunters led by John Bunting. He convinced 3 other people to assist him in the murder and disposal of 12 victims after convincing him that he was actually hunting pedophiles. But mostly they were killing gay people or just people Bunting didn't like. They maybe got one pedophile, but that's I can't find confirmation on that. One source said that one of them was, and the rest weren't. I'm not here to make that accusation. Do your own research. Jeff, what was his favorite song?
Oh, God. See, I feel like he actually fits my Iron Man description better than the first person did. What a self-righteous asshole.
Well, is it real self-righteousness, though, if he's just, deciding he doesn't like people, go, yeah, he's a pedophile?
Well, no, but he's pretending it is, right?
Yeah.
It's false self-righteousness.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. So he was born in 66. I don't know when these crimes were committed, though, but born in 66, that's not really ruling anything out off of this list. Depending on when the crimes were.
The Snowtown murders were committed between August 1992 and May 1999 in Adelaide. In and around Adelaide.
So in the 90s. So that's that could be almost all of these.
Yeah, you have it doesn't narrow down much.
That is ruling out Selling the Drama by Live. And that's ruling out Carnival by Natalie Merchant.
1992 to 1999?
Oh, I think you said 1990. I'm sorry, I misheard you then. I thought you said
1992 to 1999. I think every song on this list can be on that.
No, you're right. You're right. I misheard. Well, shit, maybe he is. Is he the Carnival guy?
No.
No?
No. But your other choice was correct.
He's the Iron Man guy.
No, Bunting was born without a sense of smell, which was instrumental in his ability to withstand the 8 bodies rotting inside of the plastic barrels inside of his house. But he also must have had a clear lack of taste because he was a fan of Live. And he often tortured and murdered his victims to the band's Throwing Copper album. Specifically, he liked to taunt them with the lines, "Yeah, now we won't be raped, now we won't be scarred like that," and selling the drama while accusing them of pedophilia during the torture.
Oh my god. Oh, I should have put that together with the... I didn't think of that. Oh my god. Wow, he really sucks. Okay, so yeah,
all of these people suck. I want to be clear about that.
Well, okay, okay, valid. I don't take that any other way. But he's still the lowest ranked person on my chart here. He is a solid D.
I would say that he ranks a D both as
all
a fan of music and as like a serial killer that I wouldn't mind having a beer with. You know what I mean?
All these people are like F tier people,
yeah.
Right? Like these people all suck. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay. Who's next?
Jeff Dennis Nielsen was born November 23rd, 1945, and he died May 12, 2018 of a blood clot post-surgery after an aneurysm. He was 72 years old. He was known as the Muswell Hill murderer. He murdered between 12 and 15 young men in London from 1978 to 1983. He was known for inviting young men back to his home from the bar, sometimes gay men looking for a relationship, or sometimes just guys he offered a place to crash, people who were traveling across the country. It wasn't necessarily for sexual pleasure while they were alive, but he would proceed to strangle them when their guard was down. He would keep the bodies for months and talk to them and cuddle them until they decomposed so much that he'd have to burn them in his backyard. He was eventually busted because he had to move. He was evicted from that property, and when he moved to an apartment, he tried disposing the bodies by flushing them down the toilet, and they clogged up the plumbing in his apartment building, and he tried to claim he was flushing KFC bones. What was his favorite song?
So here's my train of thought here.
Yeah.
To me, he sounds like a super repressed gay man.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I mean, obviously there's a lot wrong with him, but this just feels like one of those, like, he hated gay people because he hated himself in some subconscious way. So we're gonna assume, based on that alone, that his favorite song was La Isla Bonita by Madonna. Because he was a gay man.
No, I'm gonna give you more. I'm actually gonna give you more on this one and see if I can sway your opinion to something else.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you more about his first crime. Well, second crime. I'm sorry. He's gonna tell you more about his second crime. His second victim was a 23-year-old named Kenneth Ockenden. He was a Canadian student traveling around London who accepted an offer from Nielsen to drink some beer and listen to some records and spend the night. Nielsen was a fan of music, and one of the things that became his MO would be that he would take his very expensive audiophile headphones and have the person he invited back listen to a song that he said they could only experience best through headphones, and then he would strangle them with the cord while yelling, "Let me listen to the music too." What song on this list do you think his second victim died being strangled to?
First off, why is he the American Psycho guy?
No, it's not really close though.
Like that sounds very familiar. Except wasn't that Huey Lewis in the News?
It was
like,
Huey Lewis in the News, and he gets him in the back of the head with an axe. But
oh my god. Okay, so this guy's like an audiophile.
Yeah.
So, and when were these crimes committed?
These were committed between 1978 and 1983.
78 and 83. He's not. Well, wait, hold on. When did this come out? Because I thought this was later than that. No, this is 79. I don't know when his second victim was, because my next guess was My Sharona by the Knack. But that was 79, and I feel like that would have been later than his second victim. Is he... Is he the Whole Lotta Love Symphony guy?
He is the Whole Lotta Love Symphony guy.
Because that's the audiophile thing is making me think like, of course he's the guy who would listen to like a symphonic version.
He was a fan of progressive rock. He brought Kenneth Ockerdon back to his room, and he listened to Tommy by The Who and Frankenstein by Edgar Winter, and even a terrifying disco version of Flight of the Bumblebee. But around 1 a.m. he insisted that he could only appreciate Whole Lotta Love through high-definition headphones. And this is creepy because this probably sounds like people you went to college with.
It really does. Dumb.
Like, at any point, you probably could have been killed by some guy like, hey, man, you got to come back to my hotel, or back to my dorm, and you got to experience this song through my audiophile headphones.
You have no idea how many times I had the conversation of, like, what do you think the best music to check out, like, the best headphones are, right? Like, the cliche answer is, like, people used to always use, like, Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's Queen.
Yeah.
It's Queen and the Beatles.
No.
I don't even like the Beatles. You just gotta pretend you like their production.
I actually always really liked giving just really, like, I don't want to say bad answers. I don't want to, like, make fun of the production, but I would give answers that, like, have nothing to do with it. No, I would give, like, really pretentious answers. I'd be like, listen, you need to listen to
Whole Lotta Love by the London Orchestra.
No, you need to listen to, like, Consider the Source. Or if you, like, why don't you, like, you need to check out your new Sennheiser headphones. You need to check them out while listening to Screaming Headless Torsos or some shit. Like, just the whatever dumb answer I could think of, right?
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to another one that you will know. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, I know who he is.
Born May 21st, 1960, died November 28th, 1994. He was killed in prison. He was bludgeoned to death with a metal bar in the prison gym shower at 34. He's an infamous cannibal, serial killer, and sex offender, and necrophiliac. He murdered 17 men between 1970 and 1990. Very similar MO, taking people home drunk, and, it starts off with sex and it ends with, murder, as you do. And this is the song he was bopping to when he was collecting and preserving the body parts of his victims to make a penis shrine.
So I'm running out of songs. But I want to go with my he was a repressed gay man answer again. Was he the Madonna fan?
No, Jeff.
Or was he the Hall & Oates fan?
He's the Iron Man.
Oh no.
After his first murder in
that doesn't make sense to me at all.
Actually, if I had told you more about, like, a front to back of Jeffrey Dahmer's life, that would have made more sense.
Oh, really? Because I had no idea.
Young Jeffrey Dahmer pre-committing a murder was every, like, lashing out asshole, but, like, is kind of cool that not cool, but, like, you laugh at, like, in high school, who, like, just fucks with the teacher or whatever.
Yeah.
He was, in fact, after his first murder in 1970, but before his spree, he had, like, a one-off where he kind of, like, the other thing about Jeffrey Dahmer is it's kind of depressing because he kind of tried to get help many times, but no one really listened to him. Yeah, they kind of just handed him a card to another therapist and said, "Here you go, buddy." But he was in the military and he was stationed in Germany in 1979. He would sneak alcohol into, like, his bags and spend his off-duty time getting shit-faced and listening to Black Sabbath until he was discharged.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. I never would have pictured Jeffrey Dahmer as a Black Sabbath fan.
No, pre-murder Jeffrey Dahmer is probably a guy you also would have hung with in college, Jeff.
I will make no comment to that statement. Okay.
All right, here we go. We got Eileen Wuornos, Jeff, born February 29th, 1956, died October 9th, 2002. She was executed at 46. It's a common exaggeration to call her America's first woman serial killer, but she is a rare case of a woman who is more of a murdering drifter than a Black Widow or an Angel of Death, if you know what I mean. Someone who kills their husband or, like, pulls a plug in a hospital or something like that. She killed 7 men while hitchhiking, prostituting across Florida from 1989 to 1990. She early on would claim that her first victim was someone who tried to rape her, who she stopped by killing them, but she later recanted that story, even though that person did turn out to be a rapist in a different case, so make of that what you will. Regardless, she went on to kill 6 other innocent people. What was your favorite song?
She was the rich girl.
No.
Damn it. I was hoping that'd be too obvious.
She was the Carnival. She asked for the song Carnival to be played at her funeral.
When did this... I thought this song was like late 90s.
It was her favorite song when she was executed.
It was her favorite song when she was executed, but after her crimes.
Yes. She also claims to have banged the singer for Foghat.
Okay.
If you would
That's
like to
weird.
take some interest in that.
Nope. That's weird. Oh, weird.
Okay.
Weird. So wait, she wanted this song at her funeral?
It was played at her funeral.
Oh, that's even weirder. Did they get Natalie Merchant to sing it?
Well, I was about to say, I guess there was an interview where they asked Natalie Merchant how she felt about her, if she knew about it, and like, I guess her only answer was like, well, I guess if it gave her some peace of mind, I'm glad that my music could help her, just like blatantly not wanting to be involved with this serial killer.
Just like, I don't want this connection with my name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird. Well, alright, I'm really running out of songs, and I don't know these people. Okay, so holy shit, let's go.
Here's one that you know whether you know him or not, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on him, because Luca Magnotta was born July 24th, 1982, and is still alive, and is probably the most likely to search his name in Google. He was born Eric Clinton Kirk Newman, but you might know him better as Luca Magnotta, or you might know him better as the vacuum kitten killer, the subject of the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats.
Oh my god.
Or you might know him for the murder of Jun Lin in the infamous Best Score video One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. He did both of those.
I don't know what he listens to, but I am very aware of who that is because I remember the cat scenario.
Yeah.
I remember when that was unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, he sounds like a My Sharona kind of guy.
He's your Madonna.
Is he?
One of Magnotta's other
sucks.
videos features him smoking while playing the song in the background, La Isla Bonita.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Poor Madonna being associated with the cat guy.
For real.
Here I thought maybe he might be the guy listening to the pedophile song, so.
You would think. Well, let's find out what David Berkowitz, son of Sam, is listening to. Born David Falco. What?
Sorry, I just got excited. No, go ahead. Go ahead and do your thing.
Born June 1st, 1953, David Berkowitz called himself the son of Sam to his letter to the police. He would infamously claim that the murder spree of 8 young women, most of which with a .44 caliber handgun, was committed because his neighbor's dog, a black Labrador named Harvey, demanded the blood of young women. The son in Son of Sam is the name of the dog's owner. He would later go back on this, and I think it's generally assumed that he just hated women because he felt abandoned. Berkowitz was his adoption name, and his adopted mother died, and he would think when he found his birth mother, she didn't want anything to do with him. So what kind of song is Berkowitz listening to?
Okay, so, real quick here, wow, this is so funny. So as you know, I don't follow true crime stuff. I don't care. But I do follow a podcast called Disgraceland, which is about, I forget what the phrase is, chaos and mayhem in the music business.
I've listened to it.
It's crazy stories about famous musicians. Literally earlier this week, they released an episode about the Talking Heads and the song Psycho Killer.
Okay.
But the way they... Because, Jake Brennan is the guy who does the podcast Disgraceland, and he's just such an incredible storyteller where he mixes bits and pieces in, and he floats back and forth between multiple stories. While talking about the Talking Heads recording the song Psycho Killer, he was talking about this guy, the son of Sam, who I guess was, that was happening at the same period of time. Mm-hmm. The late 90s. Or not the 90s, I'm sorry, the late 70s.
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
wow. The late 70s. Now, they never mentioned what his favorite song is, but I am aware that his targets were, all young women.
Mm-hmm.
He's the rich girl guy.
Jeff Berkowitz claimed in some interviews that the song Rich Girl by Hall & Oates
Yes!
and motivated him to kill. And while the song wasn't a hit during his first murder, he probably used it to pump himself up for later murders with it.
Oh,
but we have another
Jake
response,
Brennan.
Jeff.
What do you mean?
After hearing about this in an interview, I forget if it was Hall or Oates, but one of them responded. Well, not responded, but they put a reference in the song Diddy Doo-Wop, I Hear the Voices, a song that seems to be about another fictional murderer who hears voices like Berkowitz, but one of the lines of the song goes, Charlie liked the Beatles, Sam liked Rich Girl.
Oh my god! That's awful! Shit! Oh, man. Oh, thank you, Jake Brennan. I got that one literally because that episode came out on, like, Tuesday or whatever. Like, it's, like, I just listened to this at work probably yesterday.
Okay, Jeff, so what's left is My Sharona.
Is My Sharona.
So My Sharona is the favorite song of a public figure, we'll say best known between the years 2000 and 2008. Some people might say that he is a criminal of sorts, but public figure is probably the best way to put it without giving it away. Who is it?
Dick Cheney.
So close, George Bush. George W. Bush.
Shit, of course he's the one who's into the pedophile song. God damn it.
So fucking close.
And here, I thought my Dick Cheney was a joke.
Alright, so, your favorite serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Is Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, so actually, let's go through them one by one here, alright?
Yeah.
And we're just gonna go down my tier list. So we're gonna start S tier. The only song in S tier is Iron Man, right?
I believe on a proper Tiermaker, you only get one S. Unless you have, like, hundreds of options.
Well, I mean, I think, well, okay, so hold on a second, because I love categorizing things here, right?
Here we go.
The way I personally like, no, I did not do that in this case, because there's not a whole lot of options, I don't care. If you're categorizing a ton of things, I like when people do, like, within S, you put them in order, right? Mm-hmm. And within A, you put them in order. Now, I did not do that on this. I wasn't that worried about it. But there is only one song in the S tier, and it is Iron Man by Black Sabbath. And, I mean, like, I had to put this in S tier. Like, first off, this is possibly the first, like, non-children's song I knew all the words to.
Yeah.
Like, this song and I go as far back as my memory goes back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, as I mentioned before, like, it's like my favorite breed of heavy metal, where it's just this ridiculous, fantastical, made-up story about whatever. And I love that kind of shit so much. It's completely outlandish and ridiculous. And it's just awesome. The whole band of that in that era was incredible. So, Jeffrey Dahmer's number, like, top tier for me.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Weird. Okay, next in my tier list, we're now into the A ranking. We had Bad Company by Bad Company off the album Bad Company. And Bad Company, I mean, they're one of my favorite supergroups. Again, going back to the whole supergroup thing. They're fantastic. Paul Rodgers is one of my favorite, like, blues rock singers, especially because unlike a lot of the other guys from his era, he never really strayed from the bluesy sound, right? He stayed bluesy his entire career. The only reason this song isn't in S is because it has the lamest guitar solo I've ever heard in a song. It's so dumb. I do not know what Mick Ralphs was doing. It is just the dumbest guitar solo in an otherwise badass song.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell happened there. So okay, who was this again? This was Timothy McVeigh, right?
Timothy McVeigh.
All right, okay, so he's ranked pretty high for me. That's weird.
Yeah.
Next I had Ronnie by Metallica off the Load album.
Favorite song of a Ronald Pituch? I believe that's the pronunciation. Pituch.
That makes sense to me. I'd have to look it up to see how he said it, but that's how I would guess it. This is a weird one because, as you know, I actually only recently listened to Load and Reload. Like, seriously, and I can't believe that no one's ever suggested over the past 15 years that maybe I should give those albums a solid listen.
I can't believe that no one has ever said to you that that is one good album spread across two albums.
I can't believe no one, since I met them in 2008 or 9, has never told me.
Has just been like, you should check them out. There's some solid songs on there.
In other words, you've been telling me, like, since we met, that I should check out those albums because there's some really good stuff in there. And I only did within the past month.
And apparently, Ronnie's one of those pretty good songs.
And it's a really good song. I mean, there is legitimately, like, it does not, Load and Reload did not need to be 2 albums.
No.
It's the way I think of most double albums in general is cut out all the crap and make one good album. And there's some really good stuff. The whole thing has a lot of that bluesy grit and swagger. And James was in his like snarly vocals era, which I think sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really, really good.
We might have to play another game that I've been wanting to play sometime, Jeff, where we reconstruct the double album as a good single album.
Oh, I'm on board.
Because there's a couple that I want to do this with, and this is something that we definitely could make a recurring bit out of.
There's many I could do that with. I mean, almost any double album I could cut. Okay, next, still in the A tier, we had Night Prowler by AC/DC, and I'm not a huge AC/DC fan in general, but like, when they're good, right?
No, but this is a badass song.
This is a top tier AC/DC song. Like, this really is. Nothing in particular, it's just, I think they're at their best when they're
Bon Scott.
Well, not necessarily, but I think Bon Scott was more creative.
True.
And I think they're at their best when they kind of slow everything down just a little bit, right? The faster paced AC/DC songs I don't think are as great.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the song Rocker, right?
Yeah.
I'm a rocker! I'm a roller! It's just not as good of a song. When they slow things down just a little bit, and they kind of get the bluesy swagger going, that's where AC/DC really shines.
Agreed.
It's a little haphazard and a little raunchy, and oh man, it's cool. Alright, then we had we're in the B tier now. The Whole Lotta Love, as performed by the London Symphony Orchestra.
Truly a song to get murdered to.
It sure is. It's really good. And I have been saying for many years that I wish more symphonic music would take like song structures. I think it would do well. I think people would be able to appreciate it more. And I think it would get people into symphonic music more if you made it in a way that was more recognizable, right? You have a song structure with parts that repeat in predictable patterns. I'm not saying the music needs to be fully predictable, but repeat in segments the way a song does.
The way you think of a riff in rock music.
Yeah. I think this is a really, really cool arrangement too, except there's that bridge breakdown section in Whole Lotta Love that's just Led Zeppelin making noise.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that translated to a symphony orchestra very well, and it just feels like a minute and a half of wasted space.
Maybe they could have cut that part.
It sounds like they were trying way too much to mimic it note for note, and I just don't really think it made any sense.
You could have just kept the general arrangement and cut the part that didn't work out.
And cut the part that didn't make any sense, and move on with your life, but they didn't. So,
but I'll tell you what, if he was dead before that part kicks in... Sorry, that was a bad...
Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's... I don't want to say there's worse ways to go, because there's always worse ways to go.
But you listen to it. If you haven't gone through the playlist, check this one out, because it sounds like someone's about to strangle you. It's the only one I heard that sounds like someone's coming up behind me.
You have to put on headphones while listening to it.
You have to put on headphones to truly appreciate... Turn out the lights, too. To truly appreciate...
Okay.
That you're not listening to Madonna.
Well, I'll say, so now Madonna's next. And this is The Beautiful Island, translated into English. And like, this is early Madonna. This is 1986. So she only had a couple albums out. And this might be unpopular opinion. I think Madonna peaked in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, specifically, I think Ray of Light is probably her best album.
Mm-hmm.
But like her 80s stuff and like her the career that made her famous, obviously, like she's good. I like Madonna a decent bit. But this song, I'm going to quote this song a couple of times here. Like, first off, what does a young girl with eyes like the desert mean? Are her eyes dry? Does she need clear eyes? Are they sandy color? What the hell is this, Madonna? What the fuck are you talking about? Or how about the line, and when the samba played, the sun would set so high. I'm not sure Madonna knows how a sunset works. Like,
Sunsets go up.
Sir?
Sunsets go up.
Anyway, it's a fine, like, mid-80s pop song, but I mean, there's better out there that's easy. I mean, quite frankly, Papa Don't Preach is on the same album. There's better songs on this album. So I'm just, I don't, it's fine. It's a B tier song. It's a good song. It's catchy. It's fun. Madonna is a lot better than this, and there's a lot better than this out there. If I want something with this general feel, there's better out there.
See, this is my first disagreement with you, and then I probably would have knocked it down a tier or two, but this is your
I probably just like Madonna more than you, so.
Yeah, Madonna's okay. If I'm gonna listen to Madonna, I don't know, I'm like a prayer guy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think later 80s and then through the 90s, I think is when Madonna was best. Either that, or I almost hate to admit this, the song Beautiful Stranger that was on the Austin Powers soundtrack. I love that song.
Yeah, I like when my pop gets pretentious and overwritten.
Yeah.
Like a prayer. Yeah.
I actually really like the song Like a Prayer. Okay, Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter is in the C tier for me, and I know that that's like a little sacrilegious in a way. And I do like the Beatles quite a bit. I have a giant Abbey Road poster staring at me currently. But I Helter Skelter, I understand the significance of the song, right? I understand Paul wanted to outdo The Who in being the biggest, loudest, most, raucous thing around at the time. I don't particularly like Paul's voice on this song, is kind of like my biggest deterrent, which is a shame because I think when Paul gets into his upper screamy range, I think a lot of times he sounds really cool. This isn't doing it for me. I also think it's just lyrically a really dumb song, which is saying a lot coming from the Beatles, who frequently had very dumb lyrics. It's a mid-rank tier song for me, right? Like it's not Revolution number 9, but like it's also not Here Comes the Sun or While My Guitar Gently Weeps or even I Want to Hold Your Hand. It's just not in that same range. It's not that caliber.
I was about to be like, you don't like Revolution number 9, and then I remember I think that's the one.
It is. It's the one that's like barely a song. Yeah, it's that one.
Okay. What's the one that's good? Revolution 1?
Did you just ask me which Beatles song is good? What's the one song they wrote? Hey, right there.
No, what's the Revolution that's good? There's 2 songs. It's Revolution 1. Okay.
I misinterpreted your question. I thought it was just like, what's the good Beatles song they wrote? So speaking of the one good song they wrote, up next we had Rich Girl by Hall & Oates. Okay, so here's a thing that I feel like is surprising to people is I know almost nothing about Hall & Oates. I do not listen to Hall & Oates. I don't particularly care for them. I could not tell you more than just a few lyrics they've ever written. I know this song, and it's a catchy song, but this is the most I've probably ever listened to it, was listening to it to rank it here.
Yeah.
And it's a fun and catchy song. Unfortunately for them, a song that begins with a line like, she's a rich girl. Well, in this case, it's you're a rich girl. It just makes me want to listen to the song Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes by Paul Simon, which begins with the line, she's a rich girl. So every time this song started, I'm just like, I just want to put on Graceland. It's just a better album. It's just more fun. Paul Simon's just better than these two. I'm sorry. It's a fine song. It's a fun song. It is probably not a song I'm ever gonna seek out again. And the only other song of theirs I know is Maneater, and quite frankly, what I know of Maneater was some old commercial I used to see online that was like someone editing a song. I'll have to find it and send it to you. This old like ad that I would see online had a guy who was just singing, and he was like, she's a man-eater, she's an angry tiger, and then he'd like delete that line. She's a lonely woman, and then he'd delete that line as he's like trying to write the song Maneater. And that's really all I know about the song Maneater. Not a Hall & Oates fan. It's a fine song though. This was better than I thought it was gonna be. I'm gonna be real here. I was not expecting this to be a C tier song.
You know what? I felt the same way. Once I listened to it, I recognized it. I knew I heard it, but I was not excited to listen to a Hall & Oates song. And then once I put it on, I was like, "Oh, I can listen to this enough times to get
exactly what I did. It started, and I wanted to listen to Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, but I kept listening to it. I was like, you know what? This is fun, but it's not a great song.
But as a follow-up, I also I know the song Maneater, and both of these were songs that like used to be on my mom's like radio growing up.
That makes sense.
To this day, though, as an adult, when I talk about Hall & Oates in the reference of they wrote Maneater, I have to remind myself that is not Hungry But Like the Wolf by Duran Duran.
No, that is also a different song.
It's a different song.
All right. So next,
I think they're both about about women who want to fuck though, like aggressively.
I never questioned it, but you might be right.
She's a man-eater. She's hungry like the wolf. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Next, still in the C tier list is...
Here's someone who wanted to fuck aggressively. The person who was into Natalie Merchant. Eileen Wuornos, a prostitute and murderer.
Carnival by Natalie Merchant. Which, I had never heard of this before. I have no clue who she is. And I can tell you exactly why I don't know who she is. It looks like she was at her peak when I was under 10 years old. And why listen to Natalie Merchant when I already had, like, Meredith Brooks and Paula Cole and Jewel, who all sound fairly similar, and I liked them, so I didn't need any more. It's a cute song, it's a fine song, it's not doing anything for me. I think because I'm just not the target audience, right? Now, if in 1996, if little 7-year-old me heard this song more, maybe I would have grown up to really like it and I'd have the CD somewhere. But I don't remember ever even hearing this one. This isn't a song that stood out to me, so it's fine. It's just not really my style. This, 90s folky radio rock kind of thing just isn't my thing.
I was actually a little surprised. I thought when the bluesy guitar kicked in with like the kind of bump and bass, I thought you'd be into it.
It has some nice stuff, but it's just not doing much for me overall.
All right, the pedophile song.
All right, the Knack. We got My Sharona. This song makes me angry because this song has an incredible riff that everyone can like sing and clap along to. The vocal melody is fun and chanty and simple and everyone can sing along to. It is like the perfect rock song. It has this amazing guitar solo coming up near the end. And yet, why did he have to go and be so goddamn specific and say that she was underage and she was 17, he was 23? You know what? If you didn't mention it, we could have let it go. It wasn't a huge age gap. Apparently they dated for a while. I don't really care. Why'd you have to make it creepy? Don't tell me that you're getting hard touching young girls. Stop it. You ruined an otherwise really good song.
Yeah, she's only 17.
I had a hard time even putting this in C because this song makes me angry. because it's otherwise a really good song.
Well, you want to talk about some local boys? You talk about the Black Album of post-grunge?
They're local?
Yeah, dude.
Ew.
Yeah, dude. We can walk to Live's house.
I didn't know they were locals.
Okay, so they're actually from York, Pennsylvania, but that's local enough.
That's like, yeah, ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
Just over the river and through the woods.
Okay, so here's the problem with Live. And specifically the song was selling the drama, but like, here's the problem with Live is that that specific era of like post-grunge 90s alternative, it's all fucking terrible, right? It is all awful. Every one of these bands that sounded vaguely like this, they are the most samey it's all the same. It is all the same. Collective Soul, Soul Asylum, Live, Candlebox, Bush, Everclear, Silverchair, Our Lady Peace, Filter, Fuel, they're all the same and they're all fucking terrible.
I can't believe that you're gonna come for Hey Man, Nice Shot like that.
I actually didn't mean to say them. I'm so sorry. I was just looking at the list and I meant to say Everclear, who was above Filter. I actually really like Filter. Shit, thank you for catching that. Wow. I just couldn't believe you were gonna say that. I don't need anyone thinking that I don't enjoy me some Filter. Now, we have talked about Filter before when we talked about bad live vocals because a dude can't sing to save his goddamn life. And I have called him out on that. Very, very much a studio band. But he wrote a handful of really cool songs. That guy who's brothers to the Terminator. Not Arnold Schwarzenegger, the other one.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that a
It would
thing?
have been weird if it was Arnold. I don't know.
Isn't that a thing?
I'm going to back it up. I'm just going to
No,
believe you
that's
and give it
a
thumbs up.
thing. This guy's name is Richard Patrick, and his brother is whatever that actor's name is.
Okay.
What's his name?
Let me Google.
Oh. Robert Patrick, the actor. Yes, his little brother is Richard Patrick, the guy from Filter. Like, that's a thing. I'm not making this up. That's like actually a thing. I think little. Let me make sure I have the ages right. Yeah, little brother. I'm not crazy. That's actually a thing. No, anyway. That era of like just, I guess, let's call it post grunge. That's one of those genres. Doesn't really mean anything. It's just terrible, just absolutely awful music, with a few exceptional songs. And let me tell you,
Live wrote all of them.
Selling the Drama is not one of them. And in fact, I actually like the song Lightning Crashes. I will give them that one. Live had one song, and it's called Lightning Crashes, and I don't care about anything else they could ever do.
Oh, but what about All Over Me?
No. And that is a D tier song.
Fantastic.
So
great work, everyone.
So Chris, can you just give me a quick rundown of my people in order?
In order, okay. So your top spot, Black Sabbath by Iron Man. That's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay, Jeffrey Dahmer, and then I know Teddy's number 2.
Timothy McVeigh.
No, not Teddy. Timothy. I'm sorry.
Timmy.
Who am I thinking? Who's Teddy?
Timmy's Bad Company.
No, who's Teddy?
Ted
Kaczynski is who I had in mind. Okay,
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, Timothy McVeigh. I'm sorry.
So then Ronald Patouk, and then you got Richard Ramirez, who I have nightmares about.
Okay.
As far as like those like serial killers, like he scares the shit out of me because he just broke in a house, and like he would just like if your door was unlocked, he'd just be like, oh, okay, and just wander right in and then like hide in your closet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like horrifying.
Okay.
Then Dennis Nielsen, the headphone strangler.
The headphone strangler.
Yeah. Then you got Don't
What's
Fuck
Her
with
Face?
Cats.
Oh, that's right. Don't Fuck with Cats. That's right.
Yeah. Then you got Charlie.
Then Charlie.
Then you got Son of Sam.
Charlie's like in the middle. That fits him, actually.
I think so. I mean, sometimes he says some interesting stuff.
I think his crime was stupid, and I think cults are stupid, but he has some really great quotes.
Yeah, and he has some really stupid ones. Here's the thing, is that I think a lot of people on these lists, right? Like, you and I are proof that you don't have to have any kind of mental stability to run a podcast, any kind of, like, sanity. And I think everyone we've talked about today could have just benefited if podcasts were a thing in their day.
You're possibly not wrong. I don't want to, like, admit to this, but, like, you might not be wrong.
Headphones guy? I'm sure if he just had a podcast where he was telling people how much he loved the London Symphony Orchestra, he wouldn't have had to murder those people.
That is possible.
Eileen Wernos, your next pick with Natalie Merchant Carnival, great storyteller. Every word that comes out of her mouth is fucking bullshit. You can't believe a fucking nugget of it. But if you listen to her talk, you'll be interested. She'll tell you a story.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. George W. Bush is right where he belongs in the C tier. and then you got the live torturer at the bottom.
All right. Yeah. Valid. Okay.
Storing bodies in barrels, and he put them in he basically rented out an abandoned bank and put them in the safe.
Christopher?
Yeah.
We need to do more true crime. That's what we should do. This is now a music and true crime podcast.
You had some fun tonight?
That was fun. It was interesting. It was a good little lesson.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, or can I go on a quick tangent here? Because I feel like there's a thing I need to fill you in on.
I would love for you to go on a quick tangent. I think that's pretty much it. If you're here for the game has wrapped up, and it's free talk now.
So quick little story here, because this is a part of my world that I imagine you probably missed, and it has just been an amazing adventure to watch over the past couple months. So Buckethead, we're entering the world of Buckethead. We're entering Buckethead land here, okay?
Whoa! That's the sound I make when I enter Buckethead.
We're entering Buckethead land.
Whoa!
Buckethead. In the beginning of May, and I actually may have even mentioned the album itself to you. I don't know if I did or not. But in the beginning of
He
May,
probably released 13 cents then, so I don't know.
no, because that's part of what I'm going to get at here.
Okay.
Buckethead released an album. This is like a big album. This isn't one of his what he calls the pikes, which there's like 500 some of, right?
Yeah.
So Buckethead, if you don't know, is a mostly instrumental guitar player who does a lot of also like ambient and electronic music, but his output is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, when I say he has 500 some albums, that's not an exaggeration. He went through years where he was releasing these 30-minute long-ish albums that he called pikes, and he was releasing them constantly. Absolutely insane amount of output of everything from like super heavy shreddy metal to like really kind of chill ambient music, just all sorts of weird stuff. Buckethead is a very, very weird man. But he released an album, and this is not one of the pikes, this is just an actual just full album called Veins of Institution.
Oh, Buckethead, real quick, just seems like one of those people who he has something for everyone, but you have to really fucking dig for it.
That's the problem with Buckethead. Yeah, I think most people could find something they at least vaguely enjoy, but there's so much it's hard to find. And he tends to be really weird. Even like his biggest stuff. Like he has a song, one of his big songs, one of his early big songs is called Welcome to Buckethead Land, which is just a cool instrumental rock guitar piece. But it has this weird voice that shows up randomly that like starts screaming, and it screams off the wall shit like I Am the Centipede Woman.
Yeah.
It's just weird. He has an extremely weird sense of humor. He has a track called Do You Want Some Slaw? Like coleslaw? Do you want some slaw?
Yeah.
And otherwise it's a really awesome like instrumental rock guitar track, but it begins with a voice going, so Buckethead, do you want some slaw? And then it just breaks out into the music. He's just weird. So he released early May an album called Veins of Institution. It's attributed to two people, Buckethead and Madeline Cyril Miller. Madeline Cyril Miller is a I'm going to say almost like a beat poet, like probably closer to like a Patti Smith than anything. They are 20 years old and have otherwise almost no music out as far as I'm aware. I don't really even know where they came from. This album, if I could not even begin to explain the ruckus that this album caused in Buckethead Land. People were beyond furious at this album because it is weird for Buckethead standards in the sense that it's probably the most song-like music he's ever recorded. Like a lot of these are just like straight up songs. It's like he is just the member of a band, and it's actually you're listening to a Madeline Cyril Miller album, and their voice isn't technically great, and their lyrics are very weird and kind of campy, and there's like a whole moment where they're just chanting, let me go, 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 near the end of a 10-minute long song. So people were furious.
I can't believe Buckethead fans would be so unaccepting.
Now here's where I originally got mad, is people getting angry because of these 600 albums that are out there. God forbid Buckethead releases one that is not what you're expecting from him.
Yeah.
Here is where, and I'm curious your opinion on this though. Because I saw a Reddit thread where the person basically said they were genuinely terrified that when they were going to go see Buckethead in a few weeks, it was going to be a show of this album, basically. Because here's the order this went down. tour was announced, tickets were sold, Veins of Institution was released, and then people started noticing that this Madeline Cyril Miller was a huge part of the show. At first, I was annoyed at people getting mad until I realized that many of them bought tickets before this album even came out. So people were expecting the usual Buckethead affair.
Buckethead show.
And then all of a sudden, they're going to go see this, like, experimental, almost indie rock singer who, again, isn't really a great singer. I love this album, for the record. It is incredible. But if this isn't what you bought tickets for, I can fully understand being a little pissed.
Yeah.
So that went on for a few weeks, and now Madeline Cyril Miller is out of the tour. They're gone.
Oh.
And there's no full, real explanation what happened. They're just gone.
Oh,
They're not part of the show anymore. It has been such a bizarre ride to follow this as it went down over the past couple months. It has been absurd, and I just figured it's a thing you probably were not aware of. I don't imagine you follow the world of Buckethead very much. It has been bizarre, and I am really looking forward to any more updates. But from what I've seen for weeks now, the Buckethead tour has been back to business as usual. But now I'm curious, I feel like you're going to agree with me here. I would be annoyed too, right? Like if let's say we buy tickets to go see Judas Priest again, right? Okay. Let's say that happens. And then Rob releases his next Christmas album with his family as the band. And we find out that the Judas Priest show isn't actually going to be a Judas Priest show. It's just going to be Rob Halford and family doing Christmas carols.
Sold him there.
Okay. But
I would feel deceived, but I would feel pleasantly surprised.
I personally would still really love that. But that does feel like I was lied to. So now the difference is I would love another Rob Halford Christmas album.
Right. But
I loved this Buckethead album. If I were seeing Buckethead on this tour while Madeline was still part of the tour, I'd think it's an awesome thing. But that feels wrong to me. I don't really like how that went down, and I don't really understand why it went down that way. But man, it has been drama in Buckethead land, and I just needed to fill somebody in because nobody else I know cares.
Like, it does feel deceptive from like the standpoint of selling the tickets after the album comes out and not giving. The thing that's like weird is he never announced either way if it was like a full album show, even though she was on it, right?
As far as I'm aware, no.
He never straight up said like she's coming out for X number of songs.
As far as I am aware, it wasn't really known until the tour started.
Okay. Sucks that she got dropped. If that's the reason.
I don't know. I again, like there is no
other
public
things could
statement.
Obviously have happened.
Yeah, there has not been a public statement. I don't know. I have also been very annoyed at how much the fan base is like congratulating that they were dropped from the tour.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's one of those, really shitty.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're probably gonna. This one might trigger you, but it won't, because I think you agree with the sentiment. But it's like one of those things where like after a bad movie came out, like the Star Wars remakes, like yes, the movie's bad and the director's at fault, but you ain't gotta like send them Twitter threats.
I will never understand the like.
You don't gotta congratulate yourself for like if you ruin someone's career over a misstep.
Listen,
I understand Star Wars is sacred to some people, but Buckethead is sacred to some people.
When the Star Wars movies were new, I was publicly part of the crowd who was like saying, "No, this is bullshit." Like the sequel trilogy just forgot how to write a Star Wars movie. This doesn't feel like Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
At no point was I calling out people. I did not call for death threats. And also, I eventually shut the fuck up because it's not that important, right? I moved on with my life.
Yeah.
There is that level I will never accept. Mm-hmm. There is a point where people just no. Like, you need to... Yeah, no. Crazy.
It's just entertainment, folks.
Yeah, because guess what? If... You can always go back to the other things that you like.
Yeah.
And if it ruined the whole series for you, you know what? Congratulations. You have more time on your hands. Go find another thing to get into. I mean, because I'll be the first to say that I am nowhere near the Star Wars fan I once was. I am overexhausted from Star Wars, to use that as an example. There's too much media in the Star Wars franchise, and I don't like, by this point, a majority of it. I am no longer a big Star Wars fan. And that's okay. Cause guess what? I can still go back and play Final Fantasy IV again. Alright? I'm still a big fan of things. I have things I am a part of the fandom of. Move on with your life.
Yeah, you'll have that. It happens.
Yeah. So, I needed to fill you in on the Buckethead Land drama. I thought it was bizarre. Almost as bizarre as Buckethead himself is. And it just... Man, it's been a ride.
I'll tell you about Bizarre, Jeff.
Yeah.
Have I told you about, like... Obviously, you know the band Lord Weird Slavek. Have I ever told you about, like, ordering things from them?
No. Not that I know of.
Every time I've ordered or bought something off of them, I've got handed or sent, like, a weird piece of paraphernalia, right?
Okay.
So, like... The first time I saw them, I bought a shirt or whatever, and they handed me like a Terminator trading card with it or something. When I bought one of their records, yeah, exactly. When I bought one of their records online, they sent me like a X-Files trading card or something, and like a picture of the lead singer, like a 8x10 or something. So they put out like an EP of unreleased material or like rare songs, right? Bought 2 copies for both of us, right?
I'm sorry, who did Piss Jugman?
Piss Jugman. Sorry. Let me bleep that and say Piss Jugman.
Piss Jugman.
And they sent him the recipe for an aphrodisiac in with the packaging.
What the fuck? That's a little weird.
I wish I could remember exactly. Well, they sent me like the Japanese instructions for a remote control with like a CD that I bought once, because I bought from them a couple times.
Whew. Okay.
but like he shows it to me. He's like, "This is what I was sent with our CDs," and it's like, leave 2 oranges in a bag until they start getting moldy. It's like step 1. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
That's really weird.
Yeah. Talk about bizarre.
All right then. Well. We're doing great on random news, I guess.
This has been
Christopher,
a very bizarre episode.
This has been a good time. Are we done?
Well, I want you, Jeff, to give us a very special take us home for our return episode.
I was just gonna ask you if we're done.
That's special enough.
No, you don't remember the thing where I say, "Are we done?" and you say, "Yeah," and I say, "Thank God," and then end recording?
Yeah, no, yeah, we're done.
You ruined it. Like you can't